Hi students, today let us start KCET questions on inverse trigonometric function. The first question is, if f of x is equal to sine inverse x, then its domain is. Hi students, today let us start KCET questions on inverse trigonometric functions. The first question is, if f of x is equal to sine inverse x, then its domain is, you need to find the domain of sine inverse x. So sine inverse x to be exist, it should be, sine of x should be bijective. If it is bijective, then only sine inverse exists. Okay. So entire whole region, that is real line, it is not bijective. Okay. It is, we have to restrict the region. It won't be one and onto both. So sine of x to be bijective, we have to restrict the domain to minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Okay. So the range will be closed interval minus 1 to 1. Therefore, sine inverse x domain. You know, if f is from A to B, if f is from A to B, f inverse will be from B to A. Same way, sine inverse x will be from minus 1 to 1 to minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Correct? Therefore, the domain of sine inverse x is minus 1 to 1. So, this is the domain of sine inverse x. Okay. Therefore, check the option. Option A, open interval minus 1 to 1. Option B, closed interval minus 1 to 1. So we have to restrict, therefore it is not R and it is not 0, 1. Therefore, the domain of sine inverse x is closed interval minus 1 to 1. Got it right? Thank you. Hi everyone. The question is, the range of sine inverse x is option A, closed interval 0 to pi, option B, closed interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, option C, closed interval 0 to pi by 2, option D, open interval minus pi by 2 to 0. So, take sin x. We have to restrict the domain. From where to where? It is minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 to the range of sine of x is 1. To have bijective function, we have to restrict the domain. Accordingly, we will get the range. Okay. Now, so if we restrict the sin x is bijective, implies sin inverse x exists. It will be from where to where? It is from -1 to 1 to where? Closed interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. General way how we write function. Same way we are writing for trigonometric functions also. Therefore, this is the domain and this is the range. So, the range of sin inverse x is equal to my closed interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Check the option. This is not correct. Option B minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 is the correct answer. Actually, we do not have to check further. Therefore, range is closed interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Thank you. Hi everyone. The question is, the domain of tan inverse x is the tan inverse x. What is the range of tan x? Range of tan x will be the domain of tan inverse x. Range of tan x is minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, correct? We are not taking pi by 2 and minus pi by 2 because tan of pi by 2 is sin pi by 2 by cos pi by 2. Sin pi by 2 is what? 1. Cos pi by 2 is 0. It is not defined. Therefore, we are taking open interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. To be bijective, we have to restrict the domain of tan of x. Accordingly, we got range as open interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. The range of tan x is the domain of tan inverse x. Therefore, domain of tan inverse x. Domain of tan inverse x is what? Open interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. You cannot take pi by 2 and minus pi by 2. That's why you have to take open interval. Therefore, check the option. Hi students, the question is the domain of tan inverse x. The domain of tan inverse x. So how do you define tan x? How do you define tan x? The domain and range of tan x. Tan x is not defined. The function tan x is from where to where? It is minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. It must be open interval because tan pi by 2 is not defined. Even tan minus pi by 2 is not defined. 2 r. Correct? So, here in this domain, tan is bijective. So, if a function is bijective, then it is invertible. Therefore, tan inverse x is from where to where? Just interchange domain and range of tan x. So, tan inverse x is from R to minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Therefore, the domain of tan inverse x is what? R. So check the option. Option A R, option B minus 1 1, option C closed interval 0 to pi, option D minus 1 to 1 closed interval, but we found option A R is the correct answer. Therefore, domain of tan inverse x is R. Okay, got it right? Thank you. Hi everyone. The question is the range of tan inverse x. So tan of x is bijective in the domain minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 and the range is R. It is bijective means it is invertible. Therefore, tan inverse x is from where to where? R to, just interchange domain and range. So, R to open interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Therefore, the of range of tan inverse x is, what's the range? It is minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Okay, got it right? Open interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Check the options. 0 to pi by 2, it is not correct. Option B, it should be minus here. Option B, minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 is the correct answer. So option B, minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 is the correct answer. Thank you. Hi everyone. The question is, the domain of secant inverse is. So secant inverse is not defined in the range -1 to 1. Except this, the rest of all real life secant inverse is defined. Therefore, the domain is R -1 to 1. But check the option. Is there any option like that? R -1 open interval. So we don't have such option. We can rearrange this. R -1 1. We can R is what? This is R is nothing but -infinity to infinity minus -1 1. So how to remove this part on real line? So we can write this as -infinity. Wherever infinity is there, you have to take open interval. We don't require -1 also. So -1 closed interval. Union 1 to infinity. So union 1 to infinity, you have to infinity side open interval. The same domain we can write like this also. C option C. Option C is -infinity to -1. -1 side closed. Union closed interval 1 to infinity. That is the required answer. So the domain of secant inverse is -infinity to -1 closed interval -1 union closed interval 1 to infinity. Got it right? You can rearrange according to the option. Thank you. Hi everyone. The question is, the range of secant inverse x is. Option A, closed interval 0 to pi. Option B, closed 0, pi by 2 open, union, open pi by 2, comma, closed pi. Next, option C is closed interval. Again here it should be minus. Closed interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. D, closed interval 0 to pi by 2. Okay. So, like cos inverse range is 0 to pi. But secant inverse is not defined at pi by 2. Secant inverse of pi by 2 is infinity. Therefore, except pi by 2, you can take all the values of closed interval 0 to pi. pi by 2 you have to remove from 0 to pi. How do you write? This option is not there. You can rearrange this as closed interval 0 to pi by 2. This side open, union, because you don't require pi by 2, so you have to take open, union, open pi by 2 to pi. Got it right? So you just need to remove pi by 2 from closed interval 0 to pi. Therefore, option B, 0 closed 0, open pi by 2 union, open pi by 2, comma, pi. Got it right? So the hi students, the question is the range of secant inverse x. So we defined secant from where to where? It is from R minus 1 to 1 to closed interval 0 to pi minus pi by 2. At pi by 2 secant is not defined, therefore secant inverse does not exist at pi by 2. So secant inverse is from where to where? So we have seen in the Hi students, the question is the range of secant inverse x. Sec x is defined sec x is defined from 0 to pi minus pi by 2 because at pi by 2 secant x is not defined to where sec x is defined from 0 to pi minus pi by 2 to r minus 1 to 1. Correct? So since it is bijective, it is invertible. Therefore, secant inverse x is defined from r minus 1 to 1 to 0 to pi minus pi by 2. Okay. Therefore, range of secant inverse is 0 to pi minus pi by 2. But this option is not there. You can check it. Option A 0 to pi closed interval. Option B 0 to pi by 2 union pi by 2 to pi. Option C closed interval pi by 2 to actually it is minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Option D closed interval 0 to pi by 2. Therefore, you can rearrange this like this or you can rewrite this 0 to pi minus pi by 2 as closed interval 0. This side will be as it is. Pi by 2 you have to remove. So take it as open union open. This is open pi by 2 to open pi by 2 to closed pi. Okay. So now you check. Option B is this. Correct? So option B the closed interval 0 to pi by 2 union open pi by 2 to close pi is the correct answer. Thank you. Hi everyone. The domain of cos inverse is, you have defined cos as cos x from where to where? 11th PU first year you have studied this. How do you define cos x? Domain is, what is the domain of cos x? It is 0 to 5, correct? To where? -1 to 1, correct? So, since it is bijective, it is invertible. Now you define cos inverse x. Cos inverse x is from -1 to 1 to 0 to 5, correct? Therefore, domain of cos inverse x is -1 to 1, closed interval -1 to 1. So the option A is the correct answer. Therefore, domain of cos inverse x is closed interval -1 to 1. Got it right? Thank you. Hi everyone. The question is, the range of cos inverse x is. So PU1 we have defined cos x is from where to where? Cos x is from 0 to pi, closed interval, to -1 to 1. Since it is 1, 1 and on 2, codomain is same as range, correct? So, it is bijective and hence invertible, and cos inverse x exists. Therefore, cos inverse x, interchange domain and codomain. So, it is from -1 to 1 to 0 to 5. Therefore, range of cos inverse x is equal to 0 to 5. So, this is the range of cos inverse x. Range of cos inverse x. Got it right? So, check the options. Check the options. Option A, 0 to 5 is the correct answer. Thank you. Hi everyone. The question is, if sine inverse 1 by 2 is equal to y, then y is equal to, what is given? Sine inverse Hi everyone. The question is, if sine inverse 1 by 2 is equal to y, then we have to find y. So sine inverse 1 by 2 is equal to y. This implies sine y is equal to 1 by 2. For what value of y you get sine of that angle is equal to 1 by 2? You know that sine 5 by 6 or sine 30 is equal to 1 by 2, right? Correct? Sine 30 is 1 by 2. Therefore, this implies sine inverse 1 by 2 is equal to sine inverse 1 by 2 is equal to 5 by 6. So sine inverse 1 by 2 is equal to 5 by 6. That implies y is equal to 5 by 6. That is the required answer. Check the options. Check the options. Option A, pi by 3. Option B, 2 pi by 3. Option C, pi by 6. Option D, pi by 2. So option C, pi by 6 is the correct answer. Thank you. Inverse trigonometry. Okay. ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಕಳಿಸಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂತ. ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಎಲ್ಲದು ಒಂದ್ ನಿಮಿಷ. ಹಾ, ಎಲ್ಲದು ಹಂಗೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೆ. ಪೂಜಾ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಕಳಿಸ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂದ್ರು, ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದೊಂದೆರಡು ಮಿಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಎಲ್ಲ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಹಂಗೆ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಎಂತು ಇವಾಗ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್? ಓ, ಹೊಸದಾಗಿ